So we're going to be going on to our front split. This is our third week, okay? And as always, what we're going to do is before we kind of head downstairs and start to lengthen and stretch and load and do things downstairs, we're going to look at things upstairs, okay? So we're just going to soften the spine first and foremost. So let's kind of stand on our feet first. And we're going to just start with the headquarters as always, okay? So today, rather than the kind of the circle kind of going this forward and kind of this plane, this circular motion here, what we're going to do today is we're going to go into just natural rotation. So what that looks like is chin's going to be onto the chest. We're going to look over to our armpits, over the shoulders, just nice and simple, nice big rotations, okay? Now, if you imagine a circle, what we're trying to do here is just trying to hit every corner we can, okay? So just take it slow. And this is more of an assessment this morning as well, right? So just nice and gentle, nothing too crazy. Let the weight of your head do its thing. So just nice and smooth. Eyes are open, hopefully. Okay, just continue that circle for me. Okay, so nothing too crazy. We're just going one way at the moment. Okay, let's change directions. So just nice and slowly, we're going to change. And again, your intention is to hit all those corners. So when the chin is down towards the chest or towards the armpit, let it get heavy. Okay, keep your eyes open. When your head is coming up and back, you should feel things through, hopefully, the front of your neck. Okay, so depending on where you're looking, you're going to be loading the opposite side. Okay, just keep it going. Beautiful. Okay, let's take a pause. So from here, guys, what we're going to do is just kind of slowly make our way down the spine a little bit, okay? And what we're going to do this morning to start off with is, we've been working on these side bends for a little while. What we're going to do is just think about sternum, and sternum is like, let's say kind of this middle of the rib cage here. All we're going to do is nice and simple, just keeping the fingers lightly touching the thighs. And all we're going to do is sideways, we're going to poke that chest forward. And then we're going to bring that chest back. We're looking to spread the shoulder blades a little bit. So all we're looking to do is just kind of move our torso, especially our upper to mid-back, forwards and backwards. Now, what you want to focus on is making sure that your hip is still. So what I mean by that is we want to make sure we're attempting to just move the upper portion of our spine, okay, not below the hips. Okay, so it's a very small movement possibly. Okay, it's not exaggerated. So no one should be doing Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal is basically what I mean. Okay, so no one should be kind of feeling their weight on the balls of their feet go onto their heels and so on, because their hips should not be moving, just the torso. Okay, your eyes are fixed in one position. That helps you to keep that headquarters nice and still. So again, all the movement we're trying to kind of instill in that upper to mid back. Okay, from there, front on, same thing. We're going to still kind of focus on this region here. So again, the sternum again, but rather than coming forwards and backwards this time, still hands onto the thighs. What we're going to try to do is move this segment, so below my head, okay, and above my kind of basically above my rib cage or my rib cage. I'm going to look to just travel side to side. Okay, so again, I want you to imagine, in fact, let's do this, okay? Let's just put our hands to the side for the time being, okay? And we can drop it down eventually. But think about your hands, okay, are traveling to the opposite side, opposite side. So we're just trying to shift side to side. And notice what we're not doing is moving the hips with the spine, okay? We're just trying to move the upper back. Now, again, it's a very small movement. So keep your hips very still and imagine I'm standing on one end and Nathan's standing on the other end and we're stretching you, okay? But it's a very gentle pull side to side. You know, if you feel like you're doing the right thing, then you can just drop the arms. That will help a little bit. And again, it's just a smooth, small, controlled motion. So think about your collarbone and your rib cage is the thing that's gliding on top of your hips. Okay, your hips are staying still. Obviously, your head is staying still as well. Okay. From here, what we're going to look to do, guys, okay, is try to piece them together a little bit. So we went forwards and backwards, we went side to side. So keeping the hips still, can we start to, I'm going to stand in 45 degrees, so hopefully you can see this good. Okay, we're going to just poke forward, side, back, boom. So again, it's a very small circular motion. And our intention is to hit those corners from that mid to upper back. That's it, okay? Just slow, controlled. Let's just choose one direction. Okay, keeping it simple. Your head is still as well. Keep it going. And I find it helps me to kind of just, have my fingertips lightly touching my thighs. Okay, because it limits me from over exaggerating a little bit. Let's change corners. Okay, so changing that pattern a little bit. Essentially, we're trying to move the portion of the spine which is not really designed or often gets the opportunity to kind of move during the day. So this is a really hard piece, okay? Because what we're trying to do is trying to instill a little bit of awareness. Okay, can we actually try and engage that the upper to mid back, which traditionally is for lack of a better word, stuck because we don't move it throughout the day. Last couple. Okay. From here, guys.
You just one end or it's been breaking up all the time, so we can barely hear him.
Pardon?
Mixed audio is good at your end, is it, Joe?
I can't hear you, John.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Cool. All right. So from here, guys, we're going to just kind of go into the rest of the spine. Okay. So what we're going to look to do here is keeping it super simple. We're going to start to engage all of the spine. Okay. So again, what we're going to say is kind of leave the legs alone a little bit. So your knees can be soft or kind of straight. That's totally fine. But what we're going to do here is we're going to start with the lateral shifts first. So let the weight of your head dictate the movement. All we're going to do is we're going to drop our ears to the shoulders, drop our shoulders to the ground. Okay. And then let's basically come back to the top. So again, we'll go to the other side, ears to the shoulders, let the weight of the head just drop you to the side. You're going to feel this natural lengthening of the side body a little bit. Okay, so that's your head and the upper back trying to connect together. Okay, so last couple. And what we're going to do before we kind of head on downstairs is we're going to start to piece things together a little bit. So today's objective with the spine is simple, okay? We're just going to put 1.5 minutes on the clock, which isn't very long, okay? And again, remember, the spine needs to be a little bit soft. What we're going to get into here is looking to kind of effectively create waves, okay? So, we've been going in this motion here, circular motion. What we're going to do here is in this kind of wave, either forwards and backwards or side to side. So it's free for all in terms of which way you want to move your spine. Okay, I would suggest exploring each position. But just to kind of demonstrate that point again, think about your head, you know, kind of from the last couple of weeks, we're going to move the spine into a little wave. Okay, now this may feel like a body roll. That's cool. Okay, from here, we can also kind of start to explore different planes like side to side. But again, it's a slow, controlled motion. Okay, so we can either move side to side or forwards or anywhere in between. Nice and simple, just a minute and a half. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. So legs are straight. So we often obviously do this against the wall or near a wall, just to kind of give us a little bit of accountability. Okay. We can start to explore different corners. And again, let different portions lead a little bit. So if you're going side to side, you know, your head may be going one way, but your hips may be the opposite way. Okay, so just think about how to connect pieces together. So often when we're close to the wall, we use the analogy of nose kissing the wall, chin, chest, tummy, hips, and reverse engineering that. Okay, you can also start the other way. You can start with the hips and go the other way. In last 30 seconds. Nice and simple. Finish it off and a rest. Beautiful. Okay, so let's get started, guys. So, okay, onto our front split. Most of you should know what we're doing. Okay, so if you have a block or a book or anything like that that we can just prop our feet against, would be ideal. Okay, so just so everybody's kind of on the same wavelength again, what we're going to do here, guys, is okay, we're going to start with our feet up and make our way up top. Okay, so remember front split, we're going to be looking at basically the back of the legs and the front of the legs, but we're going to start by looking at the under of the feet first. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to go into our tib sit. Okay, so tib stretch. Now, again, if you don't have a block, book, cushion, or anything like that, that's okay. You can also do this, okay, sit on the ground like so. Okay, having your feet slightly elevated or laces of your feet elevated is going to get into those areas a lot more powerfully. Okay, so effectively what we're doing here, guys, okay, laces of the feet onto the ground. And from here, remember, the less of you on the, okay, the block, the harder it is. Okay, the more of you, the little bit easier it is. So just be mindful. Okay, we're going to go for a minute and a half, nice and simple. Okay, Nathan's going to just put that time on for us. We'll go in 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck the hips, then boom, sit. Okay, so again, if you don't feel a slight stretch, that's okay. Okay, just sit with it. Remember, this is not glamorous. This is not exciting. Okay, what we're looking to do is just get into these areas slightly different. The thing that you can control and kind of look to do here is just tucking that hip underneath you a little bit, so a little posterior tilt. And you can just sit back. So you can just kind of, you know, weigh yourself down on top of your heels a little bit. Okay, not by arching your back or anything like that, but just sitting back. So as the time goes on, you will start to feel that front of the shin, top of your feet starting to kind of stretch out a little bit. Okay. And your feet doesn't have to be close together, by the way. Okay, it can be slightly open. Okay, and obviously if this is really uncomfortable, you can put something under your bum to raise the hips up or just kind of, you know, come forward a little bit. But the idea behind all the work that we're doing in this first portion, guys, is long holds. So if you go so hard that you have to keep refining or bail out, that means you went too hard. We didn't accomplish what we're trying to do, which is sit with these holds. These are isometric holds. Cool. Let me make sure that I got that posterior tilt. rib cages down. Beautiful. Okay, Nathan, is that 90 seconds? Oh, let's say it's 90 seconds, okay? From there, back it off. All we're gonna do here, guys, is tuck the balls of our feet, okay? From there, again, we're gonna get to plantar stretch. So from here, balls of our feet are underneath us. Just sweep your fingers, get the pinky guy underneath us, okay? And we're gonna tuck the bum. And again, look to sit back onto the heels here. We're gonna be sitting here for 90 seconds again. Okay, again, if this is too hard, you can raise that bum off. You can put something underneath your, okay, bum. Otherwise, we'll go in 3, 2, 1. Again, just tuck.
Sorry, guys, I'm having some major technical difficulties here.
It's all good. It's all good. Okay, sitting onto your bum, onto the heel. Now, again, this can get quite burny pretty quick, so just be patient with it. Make sure you're using your breath. Just control, okay, the whole thing. What I mean by this is try breathe long and slow. Okay, if you want to obviously feel a little bit more, you can fall back a little bit, keeping that glutes on. Okay, if this is too hardcore, remember you can just hinge forward a little bit to take the weight off the heel. So the idea is you're trying to push the force straight down your feet, the balls of your feet. And a little reminder, often what happens is, of course, we're getting into the bottom spaces, okay, of our feet. However, the front of the shin starts to kind of feel burny, okay? Those tibs we just stretched out are working overtime right now just to support, okay, the structures. That's why they kind of feel like they're burning. So this is obviously an important position for us, okay, in the terms of this is our back foot in our front split. Okay. And that's time. Slowly back it off. Okay, just a little circular motion if you need to. Okay, now from here, what we're going to do, guys, is standing up. Now, you could be near a wall. I'm going to use a dowel. We're going to get into the calf, okay? So we've looked at the front of the shin. We looked at the under the feet. Now we're going to look at the back of the calf a little bit, okay? And with this, just being mindful that, we are looking to essentially get the balls of the feet as high as possible, okay? But the heel should be in contact. Now, you can be near a wall. The idea is this, okay? We're going to carry the stretch. The side that's onto the block is the side that's being stretched. And rather than hinging at the hips, because you're still going to feel a little bit of a stretch, what I want you to think about is you're going to tuck the hips and you're going to drive the hips forward towards the wall, dowel, whatever you're using, okay? Again, we're going to use 90 seconds here. Balance should not be an issue. Here we go, okay? So tuck the bum. Slowly kind of move that hips forward. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. Okay? So again, we've got that PPT. If you just think about tucking the hip underneath you, and then imagine you're going to fall forward ever so slightly, you're going to feel that meaty part in the calf. Okay? Now, it doesn't need to be extreme stretch, guys. So you don't need to kind of like go so hard in search of like a massive stretch. Remember, just sit with it. The whole idea with all these long holds is to allow the body to kind of melt into these positions, hopefully. Okay, so it's to allow your nervous system to calm down a little bit. So again, using that breath to calm the nervous system down. Think about your position. Again, can you tuck a little bit more? Can you drop forward a little bit more from the hips, not the shoulders, not the head? So effectively, you're looking to step through. Heels are still in contact with the ground. Remember, the balance should not be an issue. Okay, that's the key thing. So what I mean by that is if you're losing balance, just go next to a wall, okay? Or somewhere you can support yourself. We want to load these structures, okay? And slowly back out of it. Okay, shake it off. We'll go to the other side. Okay. So foot on, stepping through, posterior tilt, and then we'll go in 3, 2, 1. And one of the things that you can think about here is just that weight distribution, and is your, is your hip nice and square? Okay. So often, so this is my tighter side, and I can just feel myself, shifting to the side a little bit. So just kind of bring your hips across a little bit, so you can feel that pull or that force coming straight down the leg. Obviously, keep the bum on. Okay, so that posterior tilt a little bit. You can also look to squeeze your thighs. So squeeze the quads. Again, that's going to increase that stretch a little bit. So you've got all these little nuances that you can focus on just to kind of get into the calf a little bit better. You're better organized. You can produce better force. So you're going to feel a better stretch. Remember, the caveat here is just using your breath to control everything. Okay, last 30 seconds. Keep pushing that hip forward. And slowly back out of it. Okay, and that's it. So from here, guys, what we're going to be going into is our hips. Okay, so just bear with me. Okay, so we're going to be kind of going into our internal and external rotation at the hips. Okay, so we've kind of looked at the lower compartment. We're going to go straight up top, okay, to the hips, and we're going to start with our internal rotation. So we're going to be sitting into this kind of 90-90 position. Okay, so effectively what we're looking to kind of do here is get into this back hip in this internal rotation position. So the intention is, as always, two things, okay, to be mindful of. We want to keep the spine as long as possible. Okay, so again, looking from side view, we don't want to be crunching like this. We don't want to be twisted from the side body and things like that. Think about using your hands on the ground wherever you are to kind of keep the spine tall. And the next thing is to remind yourself that everything is happening at the crease of the hips. So we just want to move from that crease of the hips because we want to pull ourselves into this internal rotation position a little bit, okay? So from here, what we're going to do is, again, 90 seconds, okay? And I'm going to talk you through, okay, a couple of the things that we're going to be doing in this position. So 90 is going to be that back knee in line with the back hip, ankle in line with the knee, and toes pulled. So you got 90 degrees, okay? We're going to posture up. Okay, we'll go for 90 seconds in 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Nate, hopefully you got that time. I haven't looked at my time here. So from here, I want you to think about pushing that back leg into the ground as hard as possible. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just relax everything you were using to push yourself down. Now, maybe this is an opportunity for us to refine the position a little bit. So maybe we can use the hands to get into better position from the spine. Okay, that could be a little rotation. That could be a little bit forward motion. Let's do that again. So again, I want you to think about the hip. The back hip is going to touch the ground and smash that back leg into the ground. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, release everything you're using. Okay, and maybe, wow, this morning is a good one for me. Okay, you can get into new position slightly. Again, tall the spine, make sure you're only moving at the hip crease, and you may be looking somewhere else, that's totally fine. And again, let's go one more time. Smash it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release everything, and hopefully you can get into a slightly new position. Again, everything is
10 seconds to go.
That hip crease, guys, okay? Posture. Tall as possible, using our own strength to pull ourselves over to that knee. What was that time, Nathan?
Time now.
Perfect. And back it off. Okay, let's go to the other side. Now this is a crappier side for me. Okay, so this is side that sucks. So again, just to kind of give you an example here, guys, I can't even like fully turn towards it. So I'm not going to force myself by turning at the torso. My angle where I'm looking is somewhere in this trajectory here, this vector here. Okay, so slowly, gradually across the time, I'm going to look to kind of rotate. But at the moment, I can't really force myself, okay, because I'm having to move from my spine. Okay, so again, be mindful, be real. Here we go. Okay, so position first. We'll start the time in 3, 2, 1. So just posturing up, use your hands as much as you need to. Let's turn the glute on, smash the back leg into the ground as hard as possible for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release everything. And maybe you can adjust a little bit, okay? And again, it's a very small detail. So everything's coming from that top of the hip. Let's go one more time. Push down hard. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release everything. And maybe this time it's more kind of shifting your weight over to the back knee. So you're posturing up a little bit more. Okay. Think about switching that back butt on again. Okay, so glutes on and then push that leg down into the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Maybe you can adjust a little bit more. Okay, so again, your ground is your best friend. So again, use your hands accordingly to keep the spine tall. Okay, you being rigid from the spine is going to allow you to just move at the hips better. So usage of your hands on the ground is a good thing. Okay, we don't need to be hands free. Slowly back it off. Okay, thanks, Nath. So from here, guys, that was the inside. We're going to go to the external rotation, so the outside of the hips. And you know, we kind of do this normally in pigeon poses and things like that. The variation that we've been playing for the last 3 weeks is the seated piriformis. Okay, so remember, first thing, if you can't do this, okay, if you struggle with this, go next to a wall to support yourself, or simply come into that 90-90 again and then throw yourself over. So the intention is to kind of get the back leg. However, if everybody's okay, cool to try this, seated piriformis, a little bit like Simon says, okay, we're gonna go and let's start with the right leg in front of us. We're gonna step over with the left leg in front of us, okay? So if we can't get into this position, okay, it's gonna be a struggle. So you may wanna go next to a wall or potentially take a different variation altogether, okay? So, you know, the 90-90 or pigeon pose is cool. So one more time, if everybody's cool, let's go right in front of us and then we're gonna take that left leg, boom, across us. From here, we're going to go with our right arm across that front knee, so left knee, and I'm going to grab my triceps, okay? From here, I'm going to look to drop the shoulders to the ground, but I'm making sure my left leg is sturdy, okay? Again, 1.5 minutes is what we're going to go for. We're going to use a breath to control this. Here we go. So look, okay, to the left wall. Okay, we see you're hugging that knee. That left feet is planted firmly on the ground. Okay, so the more you want to drop that right shoulder towards the ground, guess what? The more tension you need to create around that left arm and left knee. That bind of your arms need to be strong. Okay, so you're using your own body weight, okay, to provide the load. The critical thing here is you have to be stable. Okay, and this is how this stretch works. So the load and stability is what's really allowing us to get deep into these outside of the hips. Now use your breath. Okay, so again, progressively over time, your body will yield a little bit. So accommodate it, but don't force it. Okay, with the right arm, I like to think about reaching to the left wall. So again, I'm active from my upper body.
Ten seconds. Time.
Slowly back it off. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be 2 secs. So from here, we're gonna go to the other side. Okay, and bear with me. Oh yeah, cool. Okay, So again, a little bit of a Simon Says. So this time what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to have the left leg in front of us, and we're going to step over with our right leg. Now remember, okay, we need to be able to be in this position for us to be able to execute this well, okay? So from here, we're going to take that left arm across, and I'm going to grab my triceps, okay? Now remember, my leg is at 90 degrees, and my feet are firmly on the ground. From here, I'm going to look to the right wall, okay? Again, nice and strong bind from the arms. We'll start the time in 3, 2, 1. Again, using my breath to allow the body to yield, okay, to stay strong and stable. So remember that left arm. Again, let's reach across to that right wall. The right feet that is planted on the ground, make sure it's rooted firmly. That's what's creating that stability. Therefore, that load that's being provided by your body weight is resulting into that massive stretch to the outside of the hips. Okay, keep reaching across.
Ten seconds.
Keep going.
Time.
Beautiful. Slowly out of it. Okay, so from here, guys, we looked at the hips, we looked at the lower compartment. Last two things we're going to quickly get into is the front of the thighs and, okay, back of the thighs, okay? So for this, ideally, let's kind of have a wall or a couch handy, okay? So we're going to get to our super couch. I'm just going to grab myself a small box. So, you know, if you don't have a couch nearby, then you can simply just use the wall, okay? But if you're working on a hard floor, just make sure you got something nice and soft underneath your knee. Okay. So on Tuesday morning, we went into the two different variations, the quads and the hip flexor. Today, we're going to kind of really go hard into more of the hip flexors, so more around the area that's like basically the stuff that crosses your hip joint as opposed to the belly, okay? So effectively what we're going to do here, guys, is laces of the feet onto the ground, okay? And then we're going to have the front leg quite far forward today. We're going to posture up, making sure the butt is on. We're going to look to drive that hip forward. Now, when we talk about this, driving the hip forward, hang on, let me do it on the other side so you can see better, okay? When we talk about driving the hip forward, the hips are driven forward by your butt. So your glutes are driving your hips forward. Do not confuse this, okay, with, you know, because we're super tight. What happens is we tend to kind of hinge at the hips. And look, it feels like it's a, you know, bigger movement and I'm like getting a lot done, but really I'm not really getting to this space as I want to, okay? So think about your spine being vertical, but not at the cost of just cranking the lower back. So this is why, again, this butt is an important factor because it saves you from kind of dumping into the lower back, okay? So if everybody's ready, we're gonna go for a minute and a half. Okay, nice and tall. Okay, maybe put your hands on the hips initially. Okay, just tuck the hips a little bit as much as you can, glutes are on. We'll start the time in 3, 2, 1. Slowly driving your hips forward using your butt. And just sitting with it. Okay. Now, the one thing that we added on Tuesday, okay, with the variation that we played, was if you want to feel this a little bit more, or keep yourself a little bit more honest, what we can do is the stretching side. So in my case, my right side, I'm going to I raise my right arm. I'm just going to put it back behind my head. Okay, so I'm looking to kind of lengthen my rib cage here as well, without cranking, okay, into my lower back. Okay, from here, I can just give myself a little side tilt. So I'm just kind of leaning to that left side. Okay, so away from my stretching side. Nothing is in the lower back. So using my breath. Spine is tall. Glutes are still looking to drive me forward. And as I feel my body yield a little bit, I'm going to go a little bit further, but not forcing. Okay, just guiding.
10 seconds. And time.
Slowly back away, and then boom, down. Okay. Okay, if we're ready, let's go on to the other side. Okay, the same principles apply here. Okay. Feet is in front. We'll slowly posture up. Let's just start with the hands on the hip again. Just tuck it ever so slightly, especially the back hip. And we'll start the time in 3, 2, 1. Let's drive the hip forward. Okay. And just make sure your hips are nice and square. And if you feel that's like the limit, okay, and you feel like that's a good place to spend some time in, then maybe we can start to explore with the hands coming up on the same side as the stretching side. So in my case, left, put it back behind the head. And an ever so slight, just tilt. And again, the spine is still tall. Just because we're exaggerating the lean doesn't mean it's better. Okay, just think about staying connected through the torso down to the hip. That's really the goal. That's the skill. Okay. And as the body yields, you can again use that whole body weight driving forward. Load the new place. Nothing is in the lower back. If it is, that probably means you're cranking it up a little bit, so back it off. Okay, make sure the back butt is on, so glutes are working still.
Ten seconds. Time.
Slowly back it off, and voila, off we come. Okay, shake it off. And from here, guys, the last but not least, okay, the hammies, okay. For this, we're gonna go into our elephant walk, okay, like the way we have been working for the last couple of weeks. Just a reminder, this is gonna be a 2-minute work, and each position, look to kind of hold it somewhere between 2 to 3 seconds. So don't rush through this. Just the key details are, okay, again, if you're really tight in your hamstrings and you really struggle to put your hands on the ground, just bring bring the ground up to you a little bit, maybe kind of hand on the couch, box, blocks, whatever, okay? But generally speaking, we should be fine, okay, because we're gonna take a very generous, okay, bend of the knee, and our intention is to keep our stomach glued to our thighs as much as we can, okay? So hopefully you can see that. My hands are kind of onto the ground, and I'm looking for my spine to be flexed and falling forward. This is gonna allow me to weigh this down. Now, this is the actual work. We're going to push into the ground with one leg, squeeze the quad to straighten our leg, still trying to maintain that contact with the thighs, with that tummy, and then we're gonna bend, pause. We'll go to the other side. Okay, so really the big intention here is to drive down, straighten one leg, and keep falling forward. We're gonna hold this position for 2 to 3 seconds per rep, and then boom, back it off and make our way to the other side. Now, the key thing with this is making sure as we're looking to straighten one leg, try to keep the other one exactly where it was, as bent as it was. That's what's gonna provide you with that load. Now, the intention is to get behind that stubborn spaces behind the knee in particular, so the tendons, the hamstring. You're gonna feel this through the back of the legs for sure, but just be mindful, if you can't quite lock your knees out, maybe we need to come off the ground a little bit. Okay, what I mean by that is maybe kind of, put your hands a little bit above, again, box, block, whatever. Okay, 2 minutes on the clock.
Nice and simple. Let the weight of the head get heavy. The torso will start the time in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So as I straighten my leg, I'm going to simply count 1, 2, 3. Slowly bend the knees. Pause. Make my way to the other side. Straighten. Squeeze my thighs for 3, 2, 1. Slowly bend the knees. Come off it. Okay. So that's the narrative in our head. About 3-second pause is okay. Really cool. Using our breath as always to marry the movement with what we're trying to do. Okay. Try really, again, stay in contact with the thighs and your tummy, especially on that straightening side. Okay, remember, take a generous bend of the knee as well. So you kind of really, allow yourself to bend the knees as much as you need to. One thing that I find, helps me as I straighten the leg when I'm holding is imagine my head's going to drop down towards the ground. So I actually want to fall more forward onto the middle of my feet, maybe the balls of my feet. That kind of gets more into that calf behind the knee region for me. Okay. Different people are going to feel it slightly different structures.
Ten seconds.
Slowly backing it off. Keep it going.
And time.
Slowly back it off. Okay. Slowly rolling up. Now shake it off. Quick drink of water if you need to, guys. Okay, so what we're going to do today is just two sets of our work. That is just kind of looking at strengthening the hips and then the back of the legs. Okay. This is also, I think, Nathan's last session, guys. This is sad. Okay. Okay. But it's not going to be here next week. Okay. So anyway, we'll talk about that.
Next week's my last week, isn't it?
Okay, it is.
You got another week, mate.
It's just making me sad. I was like, it just occurred to me. I was like, hang on, am I not going to have Nathan next week?
No,
This makes me
next
sad.
week, mate.
Yeah, so I guess kind of quickly, guys. Okay, so the two things that we're going to do is our long step. Okay, knee raises. Okay, so here what we're looking to kind of do is get into this hip flexors. But the thing with this, and this is what we kind of been working on over the last couple of weeks, is we need to be adaptive as we do this. Okay, so we're only playing with two sets, and the idea here is this: as the body yields, which it will. Okay, if we kind of just put ourselves in the right position, we need to be able to make these micro adjustments in between our rests. So just to kind of recap on what I'm talking about, remember, okay, just a reminder of what the long step lunge is. Okay, so from here, we're kind of coming down to this position. Remember the balls of our feet, we've already warmed that area up. We should be kind of like, confident in that position. Now from there, if you imagine this, there's a line on this hip. So look at where my hands are. The intention is going to be, I'm going to slowly raise my back knee off, but notice that hip only came up ever so slightly, right? So it's not a case of driving and straightening the back leg this way, okay? Hip comes up, but the intention is to, boom, drive my knees forward and then drop my back heel away from me too. So we're really looking to lengthen that, straight leg, the back leg, okay? We're going to do that for 5 seconds for 5 reps per side, okay? So it's 5 by 5 seconds. And we're going to come down and we're going to rest for 4 seconds. Now, in that rest is your opportunity to kind of maybe take that forward leg a little bit maybe forward, or maybe the back leg just ever so slightly further back behind you. So when you come up and drive, you're in a slightly new position. Okay, so again, this is where the skill lies a little bit. Okay, so let's get that started. Okay, we'll go with the long step first. So balls of our feet. Okay, the front heel is ahead of the front knee. This is key. Okay, remember the 3 vectors. Knees are going to drive forward. Okay, the heels are going to drive back behind you, and your hips are going to keep driving down to the ground. So there's three things that we're doing, okay? Knees, heels, hips, okay? Here we go. We'll go in 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly coming up. Drive the knees forward. Drop the back heel for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly coming down. We're going to rest for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 5. Down and rest. Okay, we'll go to the other side. Okay. So again, nice and simple, nothing too crazy. Okay, nice and tall position. Okay, we'll go in 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 5. Down and rest. Okay. From there, we're going to stand up and we're going to go into our hamstring. Now with the hamstring, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go into our straight-legged good mornings, okay? So again, against a wall, couch, whatever you have, I'll just use this box as an example. What we're going to do is we're going to make good contact with the heel to the box, take a split stance, which basically means, okay, one leg in front of the other, okay? Both legs are nice and straight. We're going to place one hand on the small of our back, one hand on the chest, just to make sure that spine is not doing anything funky. We want to keep the spine rigid, okay? Looking straight ahead, what we're going to be doing, guys, is this. We're going to hinge over, boom, pause, and then we're going to drive up, okay? Now, the idea here is you're going to be lengthening that, okay, the hamstring and the front leg. But you want to use your torso as the leverage, okay, as the load. So make sure you're reaching to the other side of the room. Okay, so the eyes are also gazed to the other side of the room. So there is a little arch in the lower back, which is okay in this case. Okay, so 10 reps is what we're going to go for here, guys. Okay, there's a slight pause at the bottom. Here we go. Okay, hands on the chest and torso, eyes gazed to the other side of the room. Take a breath in, and then boom, hinge over, take a pause, and drive. Hinge, 2, hinge, 3, hinge, 4, hinge, 5, hinge, 6, hinge, 7, hinge, 8, hinge, 9, hinge, 10. Let's switch sides. Okay, so again, both legs straight. Okay, hands placed on the spine. Okay, so one on the chest, one on the smaller back, eyes gaze to the other side of the room. Take a breath in and hinge. Take a little pause and then drive up. 1, hinge. 2, hinge. 3, hinge. 4, hinge, 5, hinge, 6, hinge, 7, hinge, 8, hinge, 9, hinge, 10. Beautiful. Okay, let's get down again. Go straight into our long step. Okay. So again, don't be scared to remember what I talked about at the start. Okay, don't be scared to kind of readjust the position a little bit. For that 5 second, you need to be driving forward. So feel that lengthening take place. Here we go. Okay, we'll go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 5. Down and rest. Let's change sides. Okay. Okay, so position. Again, remember when you lift the back knee up, okay, think about using your butt to straighten the leg and but driving the heel back, okay? Here we go. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, drive. 5, 4, 3, 2, boom. Down and rest. Okay, shake it off. We're going to go into our last set of our standing good mornings. Okay. So remember, heels firmly. Okay. Push against the wall, box, couch, whatever you've got. Take a split stance. Both legs are nice and straight and firm. Hand, small the back. Okay, the chest. Eyes gaze to the other side of the room. Take a breath in and hinge. Drive up. 1. Hinge. 2. Hinge. 3. Hinge. 4. Hinge. 5. Hinge. 6. Hinge. 7. Hinge. 8. Hinge. 9. Hinge. 10. Let's change. Okay. Here we go. Hands placed on the spine. Legs are straight. Eyes gaze to the other side of the room. Take a breath in and hinge. Pause and drive up. 1. Hinge. 2. Hinge. 3. Hinge. 4. Hinge. 5. Hinge. 6 hinge, 7 hinge, 8 hinge, 9 hinge, 10, and rest. Okay, quick sip of water, guys. Okay, and then we're going to go into a little passive hold. So what we need to make sure, guys, is we're simply going to, again, need something underneath our knees just to kind of protect our knees. Okay. And ideally, you've got something that you can also kind of, use to support your torso. Okay. So again, balance should not be an issue. Okay. What we're going to do here, guys, is simply going to look to hold a minute per side of our actual front split. So let's kind of get into this position, whatever that position looks like for us today. Okay. So the best way to get into this, okay, just so everybody's super clear, is we've already kind of stretched out the back hip flexor, right? Now, just so everybody's on the same wavelength, I actually want you to do this. The side, the back leg is going to be the leg that's on the support side. I'm just showing this the other way. Okay. So normally this would be, the box would be here for me. Okay. But I just want to show you this. So what we're going to do here, guys, is, okay, nice and simple. We can use a box. Okay. Toes come up. We're going to drive that leg as far forward as possible, slowly coming up. And we're going to look to kind of, get heavy with the hips. Now the box is here because we're more likely to kind of fall forward and load this, keep the hips nice and square, as opposed to this. So not leaning away. Okay. Notice the laces of my feet is down at the moment. Okay. And again, we want to be, in a position where we can sustain this for a minute. So stay 2 steps behind what you think you should be doing. Okay. As the time progresses, as your body yields, you can guide yourself a little bit deeper and further using your breath. Cool. So if everybody's cool, let's go. Okay. So a minute on the clock. Okay, Nathan's going to have that ready for us. So, okay, laces knees as far back as possible, laces down. We can straighten that front leg. And again, if we need to move with the spine, that's totally fine to start off with. Okay, slowly posturing up. Okay, and time starts in 3, 2, 1. So the key thing here is just to kind of make sure we're nice and tall from the spine, okay? Think about everything we've done in the session so far. Okay, the hip flexors on the back leg, the hamstrings on the front leg. But you'll probably notice, okay, again, if depending on where you're at, okay, what structures you're loading, you may feel this with the calf. Calf is quite a limiting factor.
Halfway. Charlotte really looks like she's struggling.
Pardon?
Charlotte looks like she's struggling. She's just in front splits casually.
Wow.
So good. 15 to go.
Okay, so as the body yields, okay, what's going to be the best is to be able to move that back knee a little bit further back. So you're trying to get that thigh to the ground as opposed to sliding the front leg. Okay, so most often in this position, it's the back knee that can take a little bit more. Okay. Slowly leaning forward, or the exit strategy, as always, is up to you how you get bail out. Okay, let's go to the other side. Okay, so again, okay, getting to the position, front leg is straight. Okay, boom, toes are pulled up. Struggle down, slowly posturing up. Boom, we'll go in 3, 2, 1. So again, just take stock of what, what's actually happening. So is your hip nice and square? Is your back glute on? Okay.
Halfway.
And still using your breath to control the whole thing. Glutes in the back leg are on, guys, really important. Okay.
10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, time.
Okay, slowly backing it off. Okay, excellent. Shake it off. Hopefully those hips belong to you still, guys. Come on over. Okay. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? We good?
Had some lots of technical issues.
Good.